Hey guys, and welcome back to the fifth and the final video in our playlist of AI and machine learning campus placement dataset. So until now, we are done with all the different types of data pre-processing and data visualizations. So in this video, we're gonna finally understand what train test split is, and after that, we're gonna use three different classification models to find out the accuracy of our predictions. So let's get started. So after all of this is done, after all the pre-processing is over, what we have to do is we have to assign the target and the predictor variables, right? So first of all, we have to assign the predictor variables that we have x equal to placement underscore coded dot drop. Yeah, so what's happening over here is we are passing all the columns inside this data frame into the x variable except status. We don't want to know whether the person is either placed or he or she is not placed, right? We don't want to know that. We have to predict that. Our model shouldn't know whether he or she has been placed or not. We have to predict that, right? So we have to drop that from our data frame. We can't use that, right? We have to use that as a variable that has to be predicted. So the status has to go inside y, right? So all the different things that we're going to use to predict y are going into x. The gender is going into x, the percentage, the degree, all of these, work experience, etc., these things are going into x, right? Except the status. The status is what we are trying to predict, so that can't go inside x, that has to go inside y. So what we're going to do here is placement underscore coded dot status, right? So in the x variable we have everything except status, and in y variable, y is what we have to predict. We have to predict whether a person is placed or not. His status, either he is placed or not, that is inside the y variable, right? So now that we have defined x and y, next thing that we have to do is train test split. So okay, so what this train test split is it's basically a technique for evaluation of the performance of a machine learning algorithm. Okay, so this procedure involves taking a data set and dividing it into two equal subs, not equal, two subsets. Right, so the first subset is used to fit the model and is referred to as the training data set, and the second subset is not used to train the model. Instead, the input element of the dataset is provided to the model, then the predictions are made and compared to the expected values. Okay, so this second dataset is referred to as the test dataset. Okay, so what's essentially happening over here is we're splitting this data set into two parts, that is training part and testing part, and the training part is always greater. It's of the size 0.8, so 80% of the data is the training data. We're training our model on this data and we are testing whether our predictions are correct or not on the rest 20% of the data, right? So we are splitting it into x train, x test, y train, y test, and this is the syntax to split it into train and test. And then there is the random state one. This random state can be anything. This can be 1, 2, this can be 1000. So basically this is for the reproducibility of code, right? If we don't have a random state as a constant, like random state 1, every time a different code, every time a different portion of the data will be split, right? So we don't want a different portion of data to be split every time for the consistency of our model. So we have a certain random state for that. Okay, so after we are done with the train test split, it's time to finally take a look at actual machine learning models, right? So let's start with logistic regression. Okay, so logistic regression is a statistical model that in its basic form uses a logistic function to model a binary dependent variable. Okay, so in statistic, the logistic model or the logit model is used to model the probability of a certain class or event existing, such as pass, fail, win, lose, alive, dead, or healthy, sick. And in our case, the classification is obviously placed or not placed, right? So I'll just write the code and I'll see you in a second. Okay guys, we're getting a lot of warnings over here. To remove those warnings, there's a simple method. You can do this: import warnings and warnings dot right. So now all the warnings are removed and we're getting an accuracy of around 83.3%. that is pretty good in my opinion. So let's see what this code actually is doing. So this is obviously to ignore the warnings, and I made a mistake earlier. I just wrote y test over here. That's why I was getting error in my code over here. That's supposed to be y underscore test. Okay, you can correct that. So from sklearn.linear model, we are importing logistic regression. This sklearn is the scikit-learn library that I imported earlier. We are importing logistic regression from it, and we are creating an object of the class logistic regression and calling it logreg, right? And we are fitting xtrain and ytrain. As I said earlier, we are using this training data to train our model, and we're gonna make predictions based on the testing data, right? So we are training our model using this fit method. Okay, so we are using this fit method to train our model. We train this logreg model, and we are using the dot predict method to store the predicted values based on the testing data in the ypred. And finally, we are using the logreg dot score method to score the testing data and finally make the predictions, right? So you can search in depth in this, but there's no point in explaining this any further, because if I try to explain what logistic regression basically means, there's no end to that. This video will go on very long, right? So what basically is happening is we are using logistic regression classifier to make predictions whether a person is placed or not. So the accuracy by which the person accuracy of our model is turning out to be 83%, right? Which is pretty good in my opinion. So this was the first regressor that we had, first classifier that we had. This name, that regression, logistic regression, this name in itself is misleading, because what we're actually doing is we're not doing regression, we're doing classification, right? So this was the first the first machine learning model that we used. The second one that we're going to use is decision tree. Okay, so what a decision tree is, it's a classification model that uses tree-like structures, like tree-like model of decisions and their possible consequences, right? So basically it follows a set of if else conditions to visualize the data and classify it according to the conditions, right? So let's check out how this model performs on the given data set, right? I'll just code and see you in a minute. Okay, so our second machine learning model, that is the decision tree classifier, has accuracy. Its accuracy is a lot less than the logistic regression, and that is expected, because we have not done any hyperparameter tuning in this. So yeah, I'll just explain the code over here. So what we've done here is, just like before, we've imported the decision tree classifier from the sklearn.tree class, sklearn.tree library, and then we've created an object dt of the class decision tree classifier, and these are the hyperparameters. If you want this particular model to work well, you have to tune these hyperparameters. It's a really important step that I'm skipping right now, because it's going to take a lot of time. And what hyperparameter tuning basically does is, okay, so another important thing that you need to know about Jupyter Notebook is that if you want to ever know anything about any method or any class or anything, you just have to click on there and press shift and tab, right? So if I go over here to the criterion and press shift and tab, and once again, so it's gonna expand all of these different things. It's gonna give me a doc string that's gonna explain all of these different hyperparameters, like what is max depth, the maximum depth of the tree, so the minimum split size and whatnot, the minimum sample leaf size. Okay, so we have to tune all of these values. There are a lot of different methods by which we can do that. We can use the grid search CV, we can use the random search CV, or any of those different methods to find the best hyperparameters for our model, and using those parameters, this accuracy will surely increase a lot. Okay, so we have to tune those hyperparameters to get a more accurate model out of this. Right, so the accuracy of the decision tree is around 73%. So let's move on to our final model for today, that is the random forest classifier. Okay, so I'll just do the code and I'll see you in a second. Right, so what is a random forest classifier? So random forest, as the name suggests, is a bunch of decision trees put together that make a forest. Pretty cool, right? So random forests are used for the classification or regression, and they operate by constructing a multitude of decision trees at the training time and outputting the class, that is the mode of the classes in the case of classification, or mean or average prediction in the case of regression of individual trees, right? So since one tree can't produce accurate results, we are using random forest to create an aggregation of these trees to produce accurate results, right? And the accuracy, as you can see, just by changing the model, has increased to 5%, right? It's from 73 it reached to 78%. And as I said, these are the hyperparameters. I've not included any hyperparameters. You can see how many hyperparameters there are: NST meters, criteria, max depth, all of these different things, right? We have to tune these hyperparameters for our model to be attained to our particular data set, right? So to tune these hyperparameters to a particular data set, they'll work better with our model. So we have to use the hyperparameter tuning, as I said earlier. So the accuracy of the random forest is coming out as 78%. So in our case, the logistic regression is working the best, right? So that was it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this mini project that we did today, and I hope you learned something new in this project that we did today. And if you still want to learn some more, you can always go ahead and take a look at the data science and machine learning playlist that we have on our channel, and we also have a data visualization playlist on our channel. Make sure to check both of them out. You'll definitely learn something new, right? So thanks for tuning in, guys, and stay tuned for some more projects. We have a lot of interesting projects lined up for you, so stay tuned for them. Thanks for watching.